All right, so our first type of factoring was greatest common factor. We'll just do this first one. If there's more than one in a section, we'll just do the first one. So what can you divide out of both of those terms? 5 and x. Good. So put a 5x, put a parenthesis, and we're going to divide them both by 5x. And then you're just going to put what's left, x plus 3. Good. All right, and then this one's a little tougher. What could you divide out of both of those? Well, if you don't know, you can use Desmos, which here, let me bring this up and then I'll share my screen. Do you remember how to type this in? GCF parenthesis and then the numbers, what is it, 6 and 96? There you go, it's 6. So we can divide out 6 and then what else? Yeah, x to the third. So draw a parenthesis, we're going to divide by 6x to the third. And then put what's left after you divide that out. So what's left would be x to the second, good, x squared plus, what would that be, 12? Oh, and that's it. No, wait, that wouldn't be 12. 16. There we go, okay. I was like, hold on a second. Thank you for looking after me. All right, grouping. Now, I have this divided up for you, but how would you know it's grouping? There's 4. Good. Okay, perfect. Put parentheses out around the first 2, parentheses around the second 2. It's going to turn out the same both ways. What can you divide out of just the first 2? 4x. Good. So put 4x, put a parenthesis. What's left would be 2x plus 7. There will be a 2x plus 7 in the other half. What can we divide out of both of those? 3. Specifically a -3. Do you see how they're both negative? And when you divide that out, you will get 2x plus 7. At that point, you almost don't need to think about it. Just recopy it because it's going to turn out the same. And then your final answer is that 2x plus 7 that they have in common, and then whatever the other stuff is, which would be 4x minus 3. Good. Keep this up because I want this to be the quick, easy part, and then we can spend most of the block doing something fun. All right, I'll do 2 of these difference of squares ones. I'll do the first one and the last one. What you have to notice is that 16 and 25 are perfect squares. And then you're going to square root those. One gets a plus, one gets a minus. So what's your square root for 16? 4. So it'll be 4x, like in the start of the parentheses. And then what's your square root for 25? So it'll be plus 5 and minus 5. You can write 4x minus 5 and 4x plus 5. It doesn't matter which one's which. So, and again, I don't do all these. I'm going to go back and fill it in. I'll take a picture and post it. I'm going to go and do this one. I'm sorry, go ahead.
They always be the second number like on top.
Oh, yes. In the problem, this has to be subtracted. Yes. So that's another thing you can notice. So for this one, we're going to have to do a greatest common factor first. Let me share the screen again, because if you're not sure, you can type it in. We want the GCF for 75 and 12. Look at that. 3. So we're going to put 3, start a parenthesis, and then put what's left when you divide by 3. 25x squared. Oh, I forgot the squared on. You guys look after me. That's good. Minus 4. Now, sometimes when you take out a greatest common factor, you're just done if it's like a jumbled mess. Sometimes you take out a greatest common factor, and then you can still do more with the problem. In this case, you want to notice there's a 25 and a 4. So the 3 is just there. And you're going to draw your parentheses. And it's really similar to the first one we did. How would this split? 5x. And then square root of 4 is 2. So plus 2 minus 2.
So you add.
It was a 2-step problem. First, we took out the greatest common factor that was 3. And then we did the difference of squares, split the other part. All right, now this section is all these trinomials. Let's just do the first one of these three. Again, I'm gonna go fill out the rest of this and post it. So you can try them and check your answers. When it's a trinomial, that's the X box thing. So for this one, -20 goes on the top. I think this is the version everybody likes the best. Like, I think the trinomials go well. 8 goes on the bottom. Don't worry about the fact that it's negative. Just come up with two numbers that multiply to be 20. Well, 5 plus 4 won't be 8 though. 2 and 10. 5 and 4 is always the first one I think of too. Now one of them has to be negative. Do that after. Like if the number's first, then figure out what's negative. The 2 is negative. Now, if there's not a number in front of the x squared, these are just your answer. You draw your two parentheses, x plus 10 and x minus 2, and it doesn't matter what order they go in. So if there's not a number in front of the x squared, that's it. Now, we'll do one of these as well. If there is a number in front of the x squared, then it's a little bit more complicated. When you do the X box, -5 is not what goes on the top. It'll be -20. Good. You have to multiply -5 times 4. And then -19 goes on the bottom. So again, don't worry about the fact that they're negative. We'll deal with that later. You just need numbers that multiply to be 20. Again, 4 and 5 won't work because 4 plus 5 isn't 19. Yeah, 20 and 1. 20 times 1. People do forget about 1. That can be difficult. And the 20 is the negative. -20 plus 1 will give you -19. And then there's one extra step to this. You can't just use those numbers. Do you remember what the next step is? Divide them by 4. Draw your fractions. So it's -20 over 4 and 1 over 4. If there's a number out front here, you have to divide that, put them over that. So then you're going to reduce them. -20 over 4 be -5 over 1. And again, you can put that in the calculator just because we're reviewing. Let me show you. If you put that in the calculator, you can just type -20 divide 4 and it'll tell you. You just have to keep it over 1. And then 1/4 doesn't reduce, so just keep that. Draw your two parentheses. And you have to start with the bottom number. So 1x minus 5. And then I'm going to do both of the ones in the last section, because these are the tougher ones. Okay, again, these are here for you to use as extra practice. So when you look at this, this is going to be a two-step problem. I need the greatest common factor between those three numbers. So I'm going to come over here to my calculator. 20, what is it, 68? I'm not worried about the negatives. And 24, look at that, 4. So we're going to divide them all by 4. And thanks for sticking with me. I'm trying to get through the study guide as the quick part, but you do have to know how to do it. So you're going to divide them all by 4. That'll leave you with 5x squared minus, what would that be? 17, close, really close. 17 plus 6, good. So do you remember me doing this? I just took my hand and covered up the 4. And then we did this problem the exact same as we did this one. And then I just put the 4 back in. Yes, good. Let's scratch out the original problem so that we look at this one instead. You're never going to go back to that. So draw your X box. 6 is not what goes up top. What's going to be the top number? 30. Good. 5 times 6. On the bottom, it'll be -17. We need to come up with numbers that multiply to be 30. 15 and 2. Good. I always think of 6 and 5 first, but I knew that wasn't going to work. All right. And then negatives. Yep. Good. They're both negative. And again, you can't just use those. You have to put them over 5. And that's why it's important to scribble out the original problem, because you might put them over 20 and that's not going to be right. So -15 over 5, -2 over 5, and then reduce them. So this one will be -3/1. And then this one will just stay. That doesn't reduce. Oh gosh, you're already at the answer. Hold on a second. Draw your parentheses. You have to start with the bottom number. So it'll be 1x minus 3. And then what's the other one? 5x minus 2. And then put the 4 back in front. And I'm going to do that one below that too, because it has words in it. And I know that that's scary. So this says that the area of a square is this. What are the sides? Well, you're going to factor it into the two separate pieces, and then that's what the sides are. So I don't think I can take 4 out of it. No, I can't take 4 out of each of these. Why not? That's really kind of a bummer. Yeah, because the 49 won't divide by 4. So we're just going to draw our X box. On the top, what would we need to multiply together? I'll just bring up the, yeah, 49 times 4. And stamina, stick with me, guys. 49 times 4, 196. And then 28 goes on the bottom. Let me go ahead and type this in. I'll make the table because that's, I actually don't know what it is. 196, divide X, make a table. All right, what are we looking for? Numbers that add up to 28. $14 and $14, good. The only nice thing about this is everything's positive, so that's kind of good. Oh, it's a twin. They're twins. We're going to divide them by 4. So 14/4 and 14/4. It will. They'll both divide by 2. So they'll both be 7/2. Good job. So when you go to write it, oh, you guys were, can I write? I'm going to write out the middle step. If you jumped straight there, gosh, you guys are so smart. It's 2x plus 7, 2x plus 7, but good. It'll be 2x plus 7 squared. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. You guys are amazing. No, we didn't take out a greatest common factor. So there's no number that like needs to go out front. Good job, guys. Oh my gosh, you impressed me. Awesome. All right. These are the dividing ones. And yes, there is one this easy on the test. This is what I call a thank you for attending question. No one gets this one wrong. Are you ready? It's already factored. What's going to cancel? X plus 4. So the answer is X minus 7. This is like the Quizlet you did last time. Okay, you're going to factor that. Draw your X box. There's always a thank you for attending question. You know what I mean? Like there's always at least one. So what number goes on the top? 12. This is an easy one because there's not take 2. There's not a number in front of the X squared. There is a 1, I guess. So 3 and 4, and they're both negative. Good. Oh my gosh, you guys are going to destroy this test. I'm so proud of you. All right. So this is going to be X minus 3, X minus 4 over X minus 3. Yeah, like you kind of have half of the answer there. So these cancel and it's just X minus 4. All right, now look at these two. It's the same kind of thing. I'm going to do the one that has words in it though, because I think that's the harder one. Area is given by this. This is the width. What is the length? You're just dividing. If you take the area and divide by the width, you're going to get the length, which is the other side. So draw your X box. -2 is not what goes on the top though. -10, good. And then 9 goes on the bottom. But look, you know, like, well, actually there's a 5 up front, so it's going to be kind of messed up, but numbers that multiply to be 10, add or subtract to be 9. Yep, 10 and 1 and 10 minus 1 is 9. And you're going to put both of those over 5. Good. So 10 over 5, -1 over 5. So how does this reduce? 2 over 1. How does this reduce? It doesn't. Good. Trick question. I can't even trick you guys. So draw your two parentheses. Start with the bottom number. So 1x plus 2. And then 5x minus 1 over x plus 2. I know, I thought you were done, huh? So these cancel, and it's just 5x minus 1. So this is isolating a variable. This is tough. But what does the word isolate mean? Single it out, like make it be by itself. If you're isolated, you're alone. Do you see how both of these terms have an x? So you're going to put x, put a parenthesis. What's left once you remove the x? A minus b. Good, like the other stuff. And then you want x alone. That's what isolated means. X is being multiplied by this. So how do you undo multiply? Divide. You're going to divide by a minus b so that they cancel. And then this is your answer.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I did that to try and save you from having to write it all over again, but technically it's x equals 3 over a minus b. I was just trying to have to save you the work of rewriting.
So we just
All right, so go ahead and flip over, and I think the back page is our review questions. All right, to tell whether something is a function or not a function, it has to pass the vertical line test. So to draw something that is a function, that would be something like this. Something that's not a function would be something like this. Well, it's multiple choice on the test, so. But do you see how this one, no matter where I draw a vertical line, it's only gonna hit once? But this one, do you see how it's a problem? It's gonna hit twice. You can just take your pencil and look at it like that. All right, now these are our algebra tiles. Okay, and actually, I always struggle with drawing them. I can always identify them, but I just want to make absolutely sure I don't mess this up. So I'm gonna look at my thing here. All right, so we want 2x plus 1. So we're gonna start with a big square. Actually, I think, hold on a second. So you're gonna have a big square and then another big square for the 2 x's, and then plus 1 would be one of the little rectangles. I know, but it's when you multiply them together. And then when you go this way, it's 1x and then plus 4. So you're gonna have 4 of the little rectangles. Just go ahead and draw it, and then I'll label it up to the best of my ability. Like when you look this way, it's an x plus 4. And when you look this way, it's a 2x plus 1. Do you see what I'm saying? Like x, like there's 2 of them, and then plus 1. This way it's x plus 4. And then you're just gonna fill in the rest of the blank space. So like these would all be rectangles. And then these would just be like little ones. All right, and then this last one, you're going to cross multiply. So you're gonna have 4 times x minus 9 and give it a hug. Equals, and then what would you have on the other side of your equation? 2 times, good, and give that a hug as well. And then you guys are awesome at solving equations, so let's go. What are you gonna do next? Distribute, good. So on this side, 4x minus, and you guys know your times tables, that's awesome. Yeah, it's just cross multiply.
Equals 6x minus 40.
6x minus 40. Then you want all the x's on one side together. Do you want to minus the 4x or minus the 6? Okay. It won't make a difference. If you felt you wanted to go the other way, you'll get the same answer in the end. Negative 2x minus 36 equals not 40, negative 40. Be careful with the negative signs. Yeah, now that you have all the X's on one side, you start moving the numbers, so plus 36. Are you like done already? All right, negative 2x equals negative 4 divided by negative 2. Now, negatives cancel, so it'll be positive 2.